he'll be out there doing some individual work, see how he's doing. So he would kind of be the ad for today, if you will, out there. We're day 4. They practiced hard yesterday. Now we're only 3 days in, but it was good. It was pretty competitive, and I know they're getting a little sore. And fatigue's going to begin to sit in, so they know that. We'll see how they push through here before they get this day off for recovery tomorrow. So it's good, and we're looking forward to a good one. Questions?
Curious about Jameson Williams. I know you said the other day you had a plan for him, but just watching him on the field, like he's got a football in his hand all the time, and different teammates are going over, engaging with him. What is sort of the how do you keep him, involved and present during practice and just keep his mind right?
Yeah. Well, look. Let me say this first. He's had 4 really good days here since we've started. Early in the morning, getting up here and working with those guys, Bastine and his staff, and then the strengthening part of it in the weight room. And so those are the things it's like, okay, that really excites us because he's putting in the work, and I think he kind of knows it and feels it. The football side of it, man, when he is very much engaged. He is putting himself in that position. Okay, I'm the Z here. I'm breaking the huddle. This is where I line up. This is my split. This is my route. Elle and Seth are constantly quizzing him on it, but he's on it. He loves that part of it. And obviously you see he loves having that ball in his hand. So that side of it is, he comes up and he's asking me questions. He's asking me about the defense and what if they do this personnel, so he that stuff is, he loves that stuff. So it's good.
Is there something to having the ball in his hand?
I think I haven't asked him, but I think he just likes.
Yeah.
He just likes it. He likes feeling it. And. If that keeps his mind right and gets him a little closer to being out there, I'm all for it. So,
speaking of receivers, you guys acquired Josh Reynolds, midway through last year, and obviously he gave you guys a spark. But what is it like having him for an offseason now? It seems like him and Jared have a pretty good rapport here, pretty early. Obviously, played together in LA. Just having him here in the offseason and going through that, just what difference that makes with him in your offense?
It does. It makes a big difference, and. You guys know the story on him. You just brought it up, but I would say this, man. He came into spring in great shape, and I was pleased with what he was able to do and how he was able to help us towards the end of last year. But he came into this spring and caught my eye again, and I felt like he even took a step forward from there. And I like this guy. I'm kind of buying stock on him. I think he could have a big year. He's a smooth athlete. And he's a grinder. He's smart, and Jared trusts him, And so, look, I can't say enough about that room in general, and he's a big piece of that. But those guys are pros in there, man, and they work. And they are smart. But I tell you what, he's different now. He's a different athlete. He's slippery, man. I call him the praying mantis. He's a spider of death. There's something about him, So, freaking serpent. So I love where he's at right now. I love where he's at. I really do, man. I'm glad we got him. Hey,
Dan, fans are always so interested in the rookies. I'm curious if any of those guys have stood out to you, drafted or undrafted, in terms of their development since they got here, in the spring. The rookies.
Just any of the rookies?
Yeah, I think those guys stand out to you since you've gotten them.
Yeah, I would say, it's so hard without pads, but certainly Hutch. I can't. He pops, and to watch him just continue to work and go through it, and I'm telling you, every day he just gets a little bit better, and that's all you care about, is that you just see a little bit of improvement every day. So certainly Hutch. I would say Lucas has caught my eye, and I would tell you, particularly in the special teams drills. That's where I really see it, the compete drills, and there's an awareness about him. He's pretty instinctive, and he's aggressive, and you got to be able to, you got to have all of that to be a good special teams player. I would say those are probably the two that really pop to me right now. The rest of them, I wouldn't say anybody's doing bad. Look, Rodriguez, he's done some really good things, but there again, I would say that's more special teams than defense right now, and I don't mean that in a negative. So,
in terms of flashing Demetrius Taylor, he had the interception, I think, in the spring and batted a couple others down. It looked like he was in on that forced fumble yesterday. Again, no pads, but what have you seen from the undrafted kid out of Appalachian?
Say that again.
Demetrius Taylor.
Yeah, sawed off. That's AG's name for him. This kid is, man, he works, and he's a grinder, and man, he can run the hoop. He plays with leverage. He's just one of those guys that just, we could be sitting here at the end of camp and he just won't go away. And I mean that in a great way, man. He just won't go away because he just keeps getting better and better and better. And so I know this. He's been one of those guys, I'd be willing to bet that Wash would tell you since spring he's had some of the best improvement, most improvement of any of those guys. He really has. He's come on. And he plays the nose or the shade, the nose, the 2-eye right now, but he can play the 3 a little bit. So, yeah, we like him. We like him. We talk about him quite a bit.
Where do you come up with your nicknames?
Look, defensively, AG and them, they've got their nicknames for every one of those guys, so I kind of piggyback off of that. Reynolds was mine, but no. I love those guys, man. I do. So, look, they got nicknames for me, so, it's all good. I don't know what they are, but I know they got them.
Another just sort of fun question, I guess, but did you play Mega Millions yesterday?
I did not. My wife told me to, though. She was like, the Mega Millions is, I didn't, but somebody won, right?
No, we're talking about that.
Didn't somebody win?
Maybe 2.
Well, it's unclear. We don't know yet.
It's unclear. Got it.
What
Got
would you
it.
have done if you won $1 billion?
I don't know. Because I didn't win it, so I don't even want to get there with it.
One guy we've seen out there a lot in a lot of different roles is Anthony Pittman, and also a guy who kind of stands out on special teams. I'm just kind of curious your early impressions of him at camp and how much he's grown in the year he's been here.
Yeah. First of all, I would say that Pittman's always got to be, his special teams has got to be number one for him. It still does. It's got to be the number one thing that he does. And he's got to improve even from last year. He did some really good things for us. He was part of our core in that unit that I thought played pretty well. And so, but we believe he can take another step in that area. But I think the beauty of Pitt is just that, man. If he can continue to get better as an inside backer, the Mike in particular, and then bump him out and play Sam linebacker, which it's a little bit new for him in a sense. That'll take a minute, but yet he's got the physical attributes to be able to do that, and he's got some length, and he's got speed. He's pretty explosive. So we like the fact for a guy that you're looking for that, man, let's see if he can play all the linebacker spots. Oh, and he can play special teams. That's kind of exactly what you're looking for. So there again, I mean, we're 3 days in, but certainly we like where he's at, and we'll see where we can take him.
What have you seen from Chris Board yet so far?
Yeah, really good athlete. Board doesn't say much, but he hears everything. He hears it all, and he communicates when he needs to. But he just works, And look, best exposure I have for him initially was obviously at Baltimore, and had a lot of respect for the way that he plays the game. I know those guys were high on him. He catches your eye in special teams first. He's another one of those guys who's part of a core unit. He can do all of that for us, but we're going to let him, we're letting him compete now, and they're particularly in sub defense at the wheel because he does run well. And so he's smart. He's learning. Our defense is different than what they ran last year where he was at. So it'll just take a little bit as he works through it. But Shep's doing a great job with those guys.
You
provided a
Last one, Justin?
optimistic update on Romeo on the start of camp. Obviously, all the healing from those injuries it's not linear. It's not the same for different guys. But given where he's at in that rehab, do you have a realistic timetable on when you hope maybe to get him back on the field?
I don't. I really can't. Until we really get him out there on the grass moving, that would be hard for me to say if I'm being honest with you. I really don't know. I really don't know.
Do you guys have an idea on Jameson? When you see him?
I would kind of put him in the same boat. Until we really get him out there on the grass and doing some serious cuts and moving and then see how he reacts to it, it'll be hard for me to say that right now.
What's he doing now? Is he running full speed, or what's sort of, where is he at in his rehab?
Yeah, I'm not going to go into that, but I would say every day he's gotten better and better, and we're putting more on him. So.
Thanks,
Okay.
guys.
Thanks, Dan.